Alright, welcome back guys. So today, we'll be working on the E30. I'm going to be replacing the rear axle boots on the rear axles. Now I know some of you may say, why not just replace the whole axle? And I'll tell you why. I found that a lot of third-party CV axles, not just for the BMWs, my Subaru experience as well, they don't last. I found that the OEM axles are actually the best. So if you're going to replace them, either replace them with an OEM set or just replace the broken boots if there's nothing wrong with the axle. So that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so as you can see here, the inner boot is torn as well as the outer. You can see fluid here that's spraying out of the torn boot. I don't know if you can really see the boot itself, but I assure you it's broken. So first order of business, I'm gonna have to remove these nuts, and that should allow this end to become free, and then I'll remove the axle nut on the outside. Okay, so I've got a 30 mil socket on the gun here. So let's see if this can. Okay, it was so rusty in there, I didn't see it earlier, but it looks like there's actually a nut lock in there. So I'm going to have to remove that before I can take the nut out. Pretty much I'm just prying out the nut with a screwdriver at any weak point until I can get it out. So I'm just gonna keep working at it and I'll update you guys once I have it out. Alright, so after a lot of prying, I got the lock out. So let's see if that nut will come out now. Alright, there we go, the nut is off. My only other concern is that the actual pin here might be seized in there. That's common, but it doesn't look like there's any rust behind the nut, so this might be all good. The only way for us to really know if this is going to come out is to undo the other side, so let's get to it. Alright, so I've got an extra jack stand there with a bolt to keep the axle from moving. Ta-da! Alright, so here I'm taking off the outer shield for the CV axle using a punch and hammer. It does take a little bit of time and patience, but the cover eventually pops off. So this snap ring is supposed to have two little holes. I don't know if you guys can see them, but there's no holes to put the snap ring plier tool in. Now what? So here's the new snap ring. So see those two little holes? Just be able to put your pliers in them so you can spread the ring apart. I don't know, I'm gonna have to try and do this one without the rings. Alright, I got it out without the little holes, but that was not cool. Alright, now that I have the snap rings off, you can see me here removing the old boots. And now I'm trying to separate the ball bearing cradle from the axle shaft. I ended up moving over to the bench using a punch and hammer. It's coming out. I just don't know how I'd get it back in. Cross that bridge when we get there. Whoa, almost lost my toe. Now we're back at the bench. There's a lot of grease when dealing with CV axles, so I spent a lot of time wiping grease off. Also made handling the CV axle very slippery. Here you can see me removing old clamps off of the boot and pieces of the old boot. Now I'm moving on to the inner portion of the CV axle, also removing the old clamps on that side, using snips to cut the old boot. The old CV boots are pretty tough and crusty, so a little bit of elbow grease is required to slide them off. I've used a paper towel to remove as much grease as I can from the inner side of the axle. Now I'm filling the axle with new grease. I'm putting a little bit of motor oil around the edges where the new boots will make contact with the axle, just to make it a little easier to slip the new boots onto the axle. So at first I attempted to use the supplied clamps to attach the boots, but I never have any luck getting them tight or secure, so I decided to just go with good old zip ties. I've used zip ties in the past and they always seem to work. Just make sure you have the right size and the right durability. So here I'm putting the outer on, again a little bit of motor oil to grease and lube up the new rubber boot to make it slip on easier. Alright, now I'm going to reattach the cradle for the ball bearings, and I put some new grease in there. I'm actually having difficulty putting the ball bearing cradle on because there's a plate still on the cradle from the old CV boot, which you'll see later. It's still on there, so I have to actually do a little bit of work here to remove that plate. The part was so greasy and dirty, I actually didn't even realize that it was there in the beginning. Alright, I got the axle all back together. The camera turned off in the middle, but my hands were so greasy, there's grease everywhere. But I got the boots on. The new boot came with the shield here on this side, so I had to take the old one off as well. I just zip tied instead of using the clamps that were provided. So now I'm going to just slap this back in the car. Alright, it's getting late. Got the axle back in the car. Now I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get the other side out with that strip bolt. So I'll talk to the guys tomorrow when they're in and see what they say. Alright, it's been a little while since we got the axles fixed. So I ended up just having Quinn help me out, and he did the other side. So the car is in running conditions on the road. I got an alignment. We fixed the brakes. There was a little issue with the ABS. We fixed that issue. So the brakes work good, the axles work. The car is pretty much in running condition. So I'm meeting up with the guys today from the Subaru Club, and we're gonna drive up to Hot Import Nights up in LA. We're gonna test the E30 here and see how she does on a long road trip. If you guys are OG subscribers or OG followers, you guys will remember actually one of my first vlogs was Hot Import Nights. So it'll be fun to make the trip up with these guys and go to a car show after all this time and just hang out with the car homies. Ooh, Bernie's got his new wheels. Sheesh. Those center caps from throttle.com. So the E30 has been running for a few weeks now actually, and I've been driving her every now and then, and she's just been solid little car. Still has a hard start issue, but other than that I'm pretty confident in the car, and I think she'll make it up to LA no problems. If not, I got my AAA membership, and maybe we'll even get a few photos of her tonight. More of the guys have showed up. I haven't seen this car in a long time, and it's gone over some changes. If you guys are a long-time follower of my vlog, you actually may know Ruel. He was in the original High Import Nights video we did 2 years ago, but he just added this rally wing, which is like pretty rare. It's the first time I'm seeing it, and it's pretty sick. head out here. Let's hope it does that on the way back home too. One thing I'm a little worried about in this car is it starting up, but sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit. You gotta like redline this bitch to get anywhere. 'Cause it only goes to 5,000 RPM. Like 45 is like where the red line is. But Quinn said that the bottom end is the same as the Ally, so you can actually rev these to 7K, no problem. Especially with the new timing belt. Been walking for like 5 minutes and we're still not to the beginning of the end of the line.
I walked up and I thought he like molded his plate into his bumper.
You thought
I was so impressed.
Bernie was like, oh, this car is owned by a blacksmith.
Right?
Yo, which car is that?
God,
The Tesla?
you got me. You got me.
That's funny. I like that.
That's so sick.
Yeah, R34? Shit.
I'm not a 36 fan.
Dude, what?
How dare you? That's
I'm
the
a
best. It's the
31
best.
fan.
It's just the best one.
I don't know you anymore.
I'm a
I like them all. But did you grab those ones? Like on the streets?
like it's cool. I used to love it, but I just like R32 more.
You prefer it?
I prefer it. It's not that I hate this, it's that I like the R32 more.
34.
What I do
or
hate
32.
is a 33. 33s can eat my ass.
33s are growing on me.
33s, I just can't look at the taillights. I just hate the taillights in the 33.
It's so funny.
Damn, is that TJ Hunt drinking NOS over here?
Free NOS at the NOS station. High performance energy drink.
Turbo by NOS. It's very little, but you can still see it.
Double the caffeine, no sugar?
Is it?
Yeah.
With the LMP style, like center fin. I think.
I don't know shit about supercars.
So what is Victor doing, huh?
Eating pizza, it's lunchtime.
What type of pizza is that?
Pepperoni from
Pepperoni
the truck. It's not bad.
from the truck? How the hell do you zoom in?
This little guy right here.
This one?
Fucking Mike's on the vlog right now.
New York slices over there.
Hey, Corona is what I'm eating.
Oh shit, do that one more time. Do that one more time. Oh fuck, come on man, come on.
What?
Oh my.
I see it.
Here comes Skinny.
Outside, okay, guys?
We gotta move over. It's Skinny's world, baby. We're just living in it. Later, Skinny.
Later. And street plugs. Don't forget about me.
Okay, street plugs. Alright guys, that's it for Hot Import Nights vlog slash getting the E30 on the road. We're gonna drive back to San Diego now. Super glad the E30 is running solid. I'm really glad I got to get out to Hot Import Nights with my friends and see a bunch of cool cars. And this is one of my favorite shows because it goes on into the night and you get to see all the cool light effects. Alright, little bonus round. Me and Ruel decided to come down to Lower Grant because it's only a few blocks away. So you guys may actually notice the spot from some movies. Very popular place to shoot cars. So we're gonna try and stay here for a few minutes and get a couple shots before we leave LA.